Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Troys and Gabriellas, Sharpays of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me I have my co-host. Oh, honey, on a scale of 1 to 10, you were on an entirely different scale, and you know my aversion to scales. Jay!
Yeah, scales. Like scales
Scales.
of justice or like dragon scales.
Yes. Scales as in rankings. And this is a podcast about toy media franchises, 2000s nostalgia, and other such ephemera. And today we are wrapping up our High School Musical series by revealing our official rankings, so our scales of justice of this series or whatever have you.
Yeah, High School Musical. This was an idea. I think I kind of had it on a whim, and you were going along with it. And then you thought it was going to be 3. And then I was like,
Yes.
but John, you're forgetting Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. And then when I thought of that, I happened to be like, oh, I should look on Wikipedia and make sure there aren't any other High School Musical movies out there. There are 4 other High School Musicals out there. So, yeah, this ended up being the longer series than we bargained for. I had fun. I don't know. I don't know if you had as much fun as I did.
Like half the time I had
Yeah.
fun. So the ones that I cared about, I had fun. The ones that you forced us to do, I didn't really have fun. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting series. It holds such a like odd cultural place as like
Yes.
a touch point for like a generation of just like, yeah, this is everyone from our generation knows what High School Musical is. And it
Even the
permeated the culture in
international
a very big
kids.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of permeated the culture in a way that honestly doesn't happen a lot. I don't think it's ever really happened for any other like Disney TV movie type thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen again. Maybe Camp Rock, but like
I mean,
not really.
you have like the Descendants movies, which I think aren't
Eh,
as widely popular like outside of the demographic, but people have an inkling about what those are about. Or like this is completely different, but like on Netflix, the To All the Boys series
but
that
I've
like
never heard of
most
that.
people have. Okay, a lot of people are very like vaguely familiar with that, but yeah, you don't have the like sensation that was High School Musical anymore, which makes it interesting to talk about,
Sure.
I think.
Yes. Yes. Alright. Well, we're doing
Yeah.
rankings today, so we went through all
Yep,
the
we
films, we watched them all, reviewed them all out of order. Now we gotta
Yep.
find a bit of order in how we did that. So
Yeah. So this is based on our official rankings, which we gave each of these movies in the episodes where we talked about them. So if you're curious to hear more about any of these, just go back and listen to the episodes. But we will be there. There aren't many movies to talk about, so we can get a little bit into our feelings on each of them. But yeah, starting with number 6, High School Musical China, College Dreams.
hmm.
Yeah, this is we gave it a score of 2.4 out of 5. On my personal list, it is actually number 5. On your list, it is not quite on your list. You have voided your scores for this
I
one.
have, because I technically didn't really give it any scores. I gave it a baseline of 3, which is like really unfair to all the other films on this list where I actually put effort into them. So because of that, I avoided my scores because none of those scores had any meaning to what I placed them in. So I have elected to void my scores, and that's why for me it's on number 6.
Yep. And yeah, our adjusted ranking is number 6 here, which actually, now that you voided the scores, might not be the case. It's getting a divide by zero error on my spreadsheet, so, and I'm not good enough at math to figure this out. As Yang Yang might say, math makes me dizzy for days. But yeah, it's I don't want to be too harsh on this, because I think part of it is just cultural, but also there wasn't a lot for me to grasp onto. I gave this a lower ranking numerically than the first High School Musical. That was not intentional. I did try and bring the score down a little bit more, but it felt a little unfair. I think this one gets a boost because of its visuals, but story and character wise, like High School Musical 1 is not that complicated. This somehow simplifies it even more, and in the process you kind of lose everything that was interesting. It's the same runtime, but most of it is like songs that are kind of about nothing and characters who don't really have much of an impact on the plot. Um, but yeah, the positive things. I mean, the visuals are spectacular. This is one of the few High School Musical movies released in theaters. Actually, I think that might not be the case, because I think most of these were actually released in theaters, um, numbers wise. But that's, I guess, yeah, it would be 5 versus 3. Um, but yeah, a lot of those are the international releases.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it has like good choreography, good visuals, a lot of like very inventive cinematography. So on that level, I enjoyed it. And there were some characters who I thought were more interesting than others. So yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say on this one.
No, listen to the episode where you'll hear that I have nothing to say on that one. So,
Yep. My sister Emma was on that episode, and she sort of agreed with a lot of the stuff I was saying. So that is also, her score is affecting this ranking here. We should briefly say that, since we actually had quite a few guests on this series, the guest scores do factor into our average rating, though the adjusted ranking, that is what John and I have given it without factoring in the guest score. I don't think there will be too much of a difference on this series, just because our guests tended to be similar to us, to at least one of us. Um,
yes.
but yeah, next up we have High School number 5, High School Musical.
Hmm. The original, you might say.
Yeah, with a score of 2.9 out of 5. On my list, this is ranked number 6, which again, I don't think that's accurate to how I feel personally, but the visuals kind of drag it down a little bit. John, you have this at number 2, and our adjusted
Yes.
ranking is number 5.
This is my favorite film out of the series. Um,
Okay.
a lot of that is nostalgia, but I like the simplicity of the story. Other films I have some problems with, although some things they do in those films are arguably much better. But yeah, generally I like this film the most. It's the one I rewatch the most anyway. So yeah,
Yeah, it's an interesting one. This is what kicked it all off. For me, I think the series went more interesting places after this. I think after graduating high school, this doesn't hold any, like, I don't really relate to the characters
it doesn't have the
much.
same appeal as it used to.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and for me this was like one of those things of like, when I got, cuz when the original trilogy was coming out, I was in like the target demographic of like, not quite a teenager yet, but starting to get close and starting to think about, high school and what's that going to be like. Um, but then as I got a little bit older, the High School Musical movies are one of those like things that from my childhood that I was like, oh, I don't like this anymore. And with this one especially, I think it just kind of suffered of, I never came back around to it.
I can
Um,
tolerate it as a theater person, but I'll never put it up in as high art.
yeah, yeah, which Yeah, I don't know that any of these I would consider high art, but I do consider a lot of these more interesting than the first one. Though I do respect your perspective as well of like, yeah, this is the original. This is the one that started it all. There is a lot there. Like if this wasn't good on some level, it wouldn't have hit the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so the fact that I don't see the appeal is not a slight against the movie so much as it is a reflection of my own personal tastes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Like you were around for the second one when it came out. I wasn't, and that could also like affect our opinions of those films. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It is disappointing, I think, to see it down this low. But I mean, for me, this is about the place in the list that I had it. I know for you, this is a little bit lower down than you would want to see it.
Yeah, especially compared to the next one.
Yeah. Speaking of which, number four, coming in just edging it out with a score of 3.1 out of 5, we have Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. I have this ranked on my list as number four. You have it on your list as number five. The adjusted ranking is number four.
That I don't know how it did that, but okay.
It's you know our scores on a lot of these are very similar, even though we have very different opinions of them.
Uh huh.
It's the weird
Yeah.
quirk of like the way we do this show that sometimes our scores don't fully reflect how we feel because we give the same weight to like visuals that we do to characters and story,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
just that's just how we do it.
Yeah. A good visual can really increase its rating.
Yeah.
Like especially further down the list, like you'll see.
Yep. Yeah, this is Sharpay's spin-off. Ashley Tisdale returning to the character, executive producing, which I thought was kind of cool to see. Um, yeah, she's off to New York. This feels very different from any of the other High School Musical movies.
Yeah, it's not really a musical.
Yeah,
It's less of an ensemble. It's more Sharpay, her dog,
and Peyton, is that Austin Butler's character's name?
something like that.
The best man who ever lived.
I
He's
guess.
we talked. I talked about Peyton. I don't think you had much to say about Peyton. I talked about Peyton a lot on our episode. Uh, that Austin Butler, interesting actor. Weird that he was in this. I I think I will have at this point released a meme that I made about this movie. Yeah, just kind of a weird little movie that I had fun with. You didn't have quite as much fun with it.
No. Yeah. A lot of memories that well, honestly, I forgot about this film existing, so I guess those memories weren't at all important. But there were some memories that I
Okay,
chose to forget.
brought up traumatic flashbacks to
Just by mentioning
2011.
that the film existed, I was like, "Oh gosh, yes, I this film exists." Yes.
Oh. So yeah, number three, very fittingly, we have with a score of 3.6 out of 5, High School Musical 3, Senior Year.
Yeah.
Now this is my number third ranking. This is your number one. And then our adjusted ranking, just the two of our scores, is to believe that is my sister maybe bringing it down a bit,
Yeah, I
or perhaps
guess.
some other guest bringing their film up a bit. Yeah.
So
So yeah,
it's
this is
it's rated higher because this is a theatrically produced film. So
yeah,
there's a much higher budget. So really, the visuals really brought the score up higher. The story, don't love as much, but it's
yeah.
fine. But like the visuals and the music, they're all really well done, and that's why it bloated the score up to number one. So
Yeah. For me, this feels very fitting. I maybe enjoyed the experience of watching Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure more. Although now that I think about it, like Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure kind of loses me in the second half and then gets me back for the end. This one is kind of all over the place. The the visuals, as you were saying, and like the music numbers are all incredible. I think there is also just a lot of confusion about like where the plot is going and characters getting yeah, there's a bunch of music numbers that don't really need to be there, but it is also like impressive what they are able to accomplish. I think part of it for me is this feels very similar to High School Musical 1,
Yeah,
which for me that's a bit of a downside to it, whereas I think for you that is more kind of what you're looking for from a High School Musical movie.
sure.
um our different approaches to the franchise here. But yeah,
Uh,
I guess that makes sense since I wasn't the biggest fan of the original High School Musical, and you were, that you would want more of that, and I would want them to go in different directions. Um, yeah, but speaking of different directions, number two, maybe the biggest surprise of this series, with a score of 3.6 out of 5, just slightly edging out High School Musical 2, is High School Musical El Desafío. Specifically, both of us are actually ranking the Mexican version, though there are actually three versions of this. There's one from Argentina,
yeah,
one from Mexico, and one from Brazil. I watched all three. You watched the Mexican one. Our guest Emily watched the one from Argentina. Um, I gave it the scores from the Mexican one because that was my favorite of the three. Um, yeah, this is my number two. This is your number three. Our adjusted ranking is completely wildly. This is number one. I think
huh.
maybe my score brought this up a lot.
I I don't know why this is number three for me, but I guess
Did
it is.
yeah? Do you feel
I
like it should be higher or lower?
I think it should be like one lower
Okay.
than it should be. I honestly am trying to remember this film, but I don't remember it a whole lot actually. So it could have been also a thing where I felt like visually it slightly edged out the other one, so that's why
Okay.
it's higher. But
Yeah. The one it would be above for people who haven't been doing the math is High School Musical 2,
speaking of,
which I want to talk more about El Desafío because
okay,
I love this one. So yeah, this was just like my experience of watching this going in, and I watched all three, which was a lot. Um, so I got to know the plot and the story and the characters pretty well. And yeah, the Mexican version especially just has such a different energy than the other High School Musical movies, while still being a musical set in a high school. You have the opening number is a reggaeton number. You have
mm,
the sound effect that I can't get rid of, the
siempre fútbol.
yeah, just the energy of it is so infectious and fun. You have wonderful performances. Oh, I don't remember her name, but the Sharpay character in this one is just hilarious. Everything she does, she has the most perfect expressions. It's just so much fun. I loved watching this one. Um, I know that you didn't love it quite as much,
Right.
but for me, I was like hoping that our guest for High School Musical 2 would rate that one a little bit lower, just so that this could be number one. Because even though it's not my technically my favorite of the bunch, it's just I was rooted for it to like come out of left field, which it did. It's number two. That is wild. Um, but yeah, speaking of number one, the only one left over with a score of 3.7 out of 5. This is High School Musical 2. I
Hmm.
have it
Yeah.
number one on my list. You have it number 4 on your list, and our adjusted ranking without um, guest scores is number 3.
Yeah. Like I said in the film reviews, I didn't really love the story or much of the locations, and so that's why I brought it down. It's my least favorite of the three, so that's why I would put it third personally.
Okay.
But that's where it is. I guess
So
I
El
like the
Desafío
music
didn't crack into the original trilogy for you.
because I think like that they have a slightly better or on par visual to the second one in terms
Okay.
of like production value. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
for the cameras.
Yeah. I I really liked High School Musical too. This was you could go back and listen to our episodes about this and see, but watching the first High School Musical, I was like, am I at the point in my life where I just High School Musical doesn't do anything for me? And then I started High School Musical 2 and immediately was just brought back to like watching it as a kid and the excitement of that. And then I was very pleasantly surprised to discover as it goes on, it is a story I find to be richer and more complex than the original. It's still a High School Musical movie. It's not rich and complex in like a overall history of cinema sense, but it has so many elements I love. It's about working a job, which is closer to my current experiences than high school is. So I related a lot more to that. The characters really shine through here. Gabriella is so emotionally mature. I think we mentioned on the episode she doesn't get as much as maybe we would want to see from her, but I just appreciated her arc here. Troy, his arc is a lot of fun. Um, he has to learn to be nicer to his friends. Even Ryan gets an arc, and Ryan's arc is wonderful. Both this and El Desafío give the Ryan character a big arc, and I think that is since he's my favorite character outside of Sharpay, that is a plus for both of these. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's fun. I had so much fun with this. I was not entirely expecting it going in.
Well, there we are. Those are our rankings numerically for
Yeah,
these
I
films.
did want to briefly mention High School Musical, the musical, the series, which I have been watching, which we aren't going to cover on this podcast, but it's fun. It was not what I was expecting it to be, which was a good thing. If you are interested in High School Musical, I think there's a lot of fun stuff in it. There's one of my favorite things. The character who plays Sharpay in the musical is a guy, and like just imagining what that would look like for a whole movie is just interesting. And I think one of the problems with the show is that they maybe don't give us enough of that character. But yeah, just the way this setup of we're going to do a musical, it's going to be in high school. Like, yeah, just works. You think of even like Glee, which comes after this, is doing the same thing. Even like very recently, Star Kids did their new musical Nerdy Prudes Must Die. And that's like, what if High School Musical, but a horror movie, like a slasher? Like, this thing just kind of continues on in the culture. I think part of it is honestly the title. Like, you hear High School Musical, you know exactly what it is. Um, but yeah, it was fun to talk about these, to see all of the weird directions they went in, to see what,
Sure.
as like a Disney franchise.
Mm.
Because like this is different than any other Disney franchise.
It's a Disney Channel franchise, mind you, but
Yes.
yes.
But this is like on the level of a lot of their other big franchises. Like maybe not anymore, but there was a time where High School Musical was selling merchandise like the Disney princesses, like Pirates of the Caribbean, like
They
Star Wars and Marvel eventually
technically
would.
they still do because all the
Yeah.
leftover merchandise got shipped to South America to the point where when I moved down there, like High School Musical 3, Jonas Brother, Hannah Montana, they still have backpacks being sold and notebooks. So
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's weird that this is like a thing that got this popular. It's just fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed doing this series.
Well, I guess that's the end of that. So,
Yeah.
with that, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review and go join our Patreon at patreon.com/Binging Barbie Podcast. And we will be back next week to begin our series on the theatrically released Transformers movies to see if they are more than meets the eye. And until then, we're all in this together.
Autobots, roll out.
Toodles.
Toodles.
One last toodles.